BROCCO BOOGIE is back! Hey everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Now today we're going to be checking out everything groovy about BROCCO BOOGIE. Now if you don't know, the booster has had some huge changes and I'm going to be covering everything new about BROCCO and how you can utilize the booster in your matches to win more games. Now BROCCO BOOGIE was one of the original legendary boosters and it's been around for a super long time. You'll all be familiar with the dancing broccoli, but in the latest Matchmasters update, BROCCO has had some big changes and it's safe to say that he's definitely more powerful than ever. So before we dive into this BROCCO BOOGIE Masterclass, would you like to get your hands on 3 free Broccos? Well, we can do this for 2 lucky winners, so all you need to do is make sure you're a subscriber, you've hit the like button, and of course you've dropped that comment. Good luck for the BROCCO BOOGIE giveaway, and let's dive into my top tips and tricks for BROCCO BOOGIE. So once activated, BROCCO BOOGIE will explode a number of random tiles across the board. You'll then be left with 3 disco balls, or sometimes 2, on an activation after the first one. Now this makes it super important on which mode that you choose to use BROCCO BOOGIE in. Perks are hugely important too, but we'll get onto that in a moment. So with BROCCO, that initial burst of random tiles is great and a decent haul of points to kickstart your tally, but after that it's time to be savvy with your disco ball choices. So once you swipe that disco ball into another colour, all of the other pieces of the same colour on the board explode. So it's super useful to tactically plan ahead when starting your match for how you're going to use these groovy little disco balls. For example, a mode with a color legend or a mode like this which is hot color, it can be great for this kind of booster activation. So you can see here that we have our chosen colors and they yield the most points, so we can activate the disco balls on some of those colors constantly, taking them all off the board in a fast and effective way. Now this works with a traditional color legend where you have like yellow for 5, purple for 4, orange, green, and so on. But in this mode we're playing here, we actually get multipliers when using those colors, so sometimes by taking the other colors off of the board, it leaves more of the yellows and greens that we need for that multiplier. So you kind of have to go backwards with how you use those disco balls. I recommend using a score legend mode when combined with square matches or special pieces that auto explode or bigger board. This will give you a good way to get repeat boosters to fully exploit this technique. Another great example of how to use BROCCO is in a mode like Bombs Away. So in this mode, bombs fall when the board refills, and here is a great example in a daily mode of Party Rumble. So I managed to boss this one by utilizing the fact that every time I activate BROCCO, I would make sure to slide the disco balls into a puzzle piece color that has bombs across the board. So here's a good example. I do it onto the reds, and that means that the special pieces get activated all together when that disco ball is used. This ensures maximum carnage and will turbocharge your points tally for each move. Another standout mode for BROCCO BOOGIE is Multiplier Mushrooms or Mighty Mushrooms. It's definitely not a mode that the previous iteration would naturally be associated with, but this new BROCCO 2.0 is incredible in this mode, and it actually worked a charm. I was able to gain mushrooms fast to turbocharge that multiplier really quickly. The trick is to choose the color from the disco balls that matches the highest number of mushrooms on the board. This will accelerate your multiplier much faster. Now another powerful example of this was in Multiplier Mushrooms daily mode. So here you can see I'm taking on the mighty Sweeper SE, and I bet all of you watching would think that Sweeper SE would absolutely toast me here. Well, think again. This new BROCCO is super powerful, and all of the evidence can be seen in my second turn. So in typical Sweeper SE fashion, you can see their second turn went really well. They got a high multiplier and they were racking up so many points. I was thinking I was an absolute goner, and this is where BROCCO really surprised me. So here in my second turn, I'm up against it, and basically I was going to have to get a lot of mushrooms to get that multiplier, because with BROCCO you're not going to get points as quickly. So by utilizing it in a mode like Mighty Mushrooms or Multiplier Madness or Multiplier Mushrooms, then you're going to be able to get yourself, well, at least a decent multiplier. So off the bat here, what I'm trying to do is when I get those disco balls, I'm activating them on the color with the most mushrooms, but the task is to try and get yourself your booster activation, because BROCCO, when you activate, it locks off getting blue pieces, so you have to sort of do it in between turns. That can be the trickiest part of using this booster, especially when you're under time pressures. So what I'm doing here is I can see there's some purples there for the multiplier. I put the disco ball onto those purples, and then this time I put the disco ball onto the extra move of the 4 match. Now we're getting close on time. We've actually roared ahead and got up to a times 17 multiplier, and we actually win the match. So a crazy comeback in the dying seconds, and a prime example of how BROCCO BOOGIE and the disco balls pairs really nicely with anything multiplier or mushroom related. Now there is a mode that I found BROCCO didn't work particularly well with, and that is color crystals. This is because the fundamental rules of the mode are very similar to how BROCCO works, and it ends up having a sort of dull response on the score sheet. So in color crystals, the crystals pop off the rest of the same color, essentially identical to BROCCO BOOGIE's party moves. So yeah, this mode is probably best suited to a Mixie or a Sweeper SE. So we've had a look at the new and improved BROCCO 2.0, and we've also identified key modes to play. But what about perks? Let's take a look at some of the perk choices that I think pair very nicely with BROCCO BOOGIE. So first up, the checkerboard, probably not great. Usually this is paired with the tap hammer. Now it could be good in terms of a disco ball popping off a whole color, but probably not that good if you're wanting to get lots of special pieces, as the checkerboard and tap hammer, there's a special trick. If you watch my videos, you'll know exactly what that is, and go and find it if you're curious, because it really is a sight to behold. Now my usual combo of the mini clear perk and the star maker, I mean the star maker is always effective. It doesn't really matter what booster you're using, the star maker is super helpful. Mini mastermind can be good to get those special matches to create extra pieces that can be good when popping off a disco ball onto certain colors. And of course create lightning or extra bombs can be good for the same thing, where basically you're going to have more special pieces on the board, meaning those disco balls are going to get more points and just create more carnage across the game board. So to summarize, BROCCO BOOGIE is back with a bang, and I'm actually loving the new and updated boogieing vegetable. I think it's amazing. Let me know down below in the comments section, have you tried the new BROCCO, and do you have any special tips or tricks or certain modes or perk combos that you think really complement the booster? Now remember, if you'd like to get yourself a bundle of 3 free BROCCOs, all you need to do is hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment right now. We have this giveaway for 2 lucky viewers, so good luck. I do hope you've enjoyed this BROCCO BOOGIE masterclass, and I'll catch you soon for more content.